177. He's interesting to me. And maybe you guys will roll your eyes at this idea. He threw 89 pitches. I know he gets the loss, but he had 10 strikeouts in 4 2/3. His K per 9 so far is 13. He has 52 strikeouts in 35 2/3. His ERA is 1.77. The Dodgers, historically, if you look back at this run as Dave Roberts, manager of the Dodgers, they've always taken an arm that you didn't expect to be a key contributor in a postseason run and made them incredibly important. Go back to Kenta Maeda, who was a starter, and they relied on him for innings. Once they put this guy in the bullpen, things changed.
Different cat. Really aggressive with the heater. He was just, it was like he took the relieving like that's what he should have been doing the whole time.
That was because when you get in the bullpen, you know that you don't have to save yourself. You're not trying to go 6-7 innings. You know that now it's a shorter stint. You actually get an uptick in the fastball.
Now, Pedro Baez is a reliever, but he was relied on heavily in the 2018 postseason. 14 strikeouts, only 4 hits allowed. In 11 1/3, he became a glue guy in the pen for Dave Roberts.
But boy, he took a long time between pitches, though.
He did.
Yes.
How about Alex Wood, your guy?
Oh, man. If Alex don't light your fire, you're working with wet wood.
And he wasn't in 2020. 6 2/3, 8 strikeouts, a starter who was a left-handed weapon for Dave Roberts. Speaking of, Julio Urias getting the final out of the 2020 World Series. A starter, Bo, but Dave Roberts knew what he had to use out of the pen.
Yes, and it gives him guys that are already built up. So now you're bringing them into the game. It can bridge you to the back end of your bullpen and give you the length you need.
And then Brusdar Graterol, another flame-throwing reliever. They didn't have a ton of strikeouts for the 9 innings, but he was a guy no one wanted to face, uncomfortable at bat. He became a glue guy in the pen for Dave Roberts. So we're looking ahead. And am I on to something here that may be the swing and miss, which is what every manager covets in the month of October? Is Andrew Heaney a candidate to follow along in this theme of Dave Roberts' managerial instincts of grabbing a guy potentially that we're not talking about and making him a key contributor in the bullpen in October?
Yeah, and I think for a certain part of the lineup. So if you're looking ahead, like, hey, where would he face in a Braves lineup? It would be a guy like Matt Olson, Ozzie Albies. You think around, hey, what if they play the Phillies? Maybe you could take that big bat out of Kyle Schwarber and negate that a little bit. So that's kind of what you're looking at. But he gives you the luxury of this, Greg. Being a former starter, he can give you some length. I see him more of a guy, say, starters struggle a little bit early. Dodgers find themselves down 3-1 going into the 4th inning. Starter looks like he doesn't have it. You could go to Heaney, and he's a guy that can get you through the 4th, 5th, and maybe the 6th inning before you start unleashing the major pieces in your bullpen.
Do you think we're on to something here that Heaney could be a key contributor for this team in October?
It's very important to be, if you're going to be a championship team, you have to have those bridge relievers when you get to the postseason that even if you fall behind, and you look at the Dodgers offense, they have an offense that can strike quick in so many different ways. It's just as important having those guys that can hold the game right there, that gives your offense a chance to come back in those games. And also, even if, let's just say you lose a game in the postseason, if you have Heaney down in your bullpen, the starter goes out of the game in the 4th, you may bring him in the game. Now, he may finish the game. That saves the rest of your bullpen. You're now in a position to still win that series. That's how valuable he is.